Welcome to The Roofer Show with your host, Dave Sullivan. You found the podcast that helps roofing contractors grow their businesses, make more money, and have more free time.
Mike, what is going on? It's great to see you.
Happy holidays. It's that time of year.
Likewise, John DeLaurier Roofing, Savannah, Georgia. What's going on?
It is the transition week, Dave. We are transitioning from DeLaurier Roofing, which I can barely say, to Peach State Roofing. It's been announced on other podcasts, but over the next 30 days, we're going to be transitioning our entire brand to Peach State Roofing. So it's easier to say, easier to spell. It's a good day.
I think that's a good idea. So what are you cheating on us there? I mean, you didn't make the announcement on our show. It's like, what the hell?
No, AJ and I have our own podcast now called Big Roofs Podcast. So you'll hear it's our third episode. It's coming out, I think, this week sometime. But yeah. Big
Roofs Podcast, really? Okay. Well, we'll have to do a little promo on that. But anyway, we got Mike here, and we're going to talk about, we got a lot of things to go over. But Mike, give us the quick rundown, if you don't mind. We got to go through that, of course, the elevator pitch on what you're doing, how you got into the business, what's in it for our contractors.
Yeah, and I have to say, congratulations, John. That is a huge deal, and I'm sure that's looking like a launching point to a whole different level of transparency and ability to separate yourself on a lot of different levels. So, very cool to hear that.
Years in the making. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you say that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. It really sticks in. Yeah. Exactly. The DeLaurier. So, well, Mike, let's hear a little about it. What's going on?
Yeah, so I've actually been in the roofing industry for over 30 years. So I started as an installer back in 1992 and was a roofing contractor for 18 years, primarily as an installer, owner, operator kind of a deal. So I didn't have all the sexy big trucks with the jacked tires and all that kind of stuff. I literally worked every day. And then started as a manufacturer rep in 2010, and spent 13 years in manufacturing as a manufacturer rep. And then last year got the calling to head over to Roofle. Roofle Technologies is home of Roof Quote Pro, which is an instant estimator for contractors to be able to give instant estimates right through their websites. So it's been kind of a fun journey for me to kind of start in the trenches. And I know roofing industry, basically inside, outside, backwards, have lived through multiple evolutions, and now on the technical side of things, which is kind of like wearing a shoe that's awkwardly fitting, because it's a far cry from pounding nails to typing in a keyboard. So, but it's been a fantastic experience, and I've had a lot of fun with it. Wow.
Well, yeah, I was a contractor for 30 years and long time. We've seen a lot of things going on. You know, something that I talk about where most of the contractors that we know have not even been in business 10 years, let's say, a lot of these guys. So, Mike, we've seen a few ups and downs in our time then. And last 10 years, 10 years, I mean, this economy has just been like none other. So it was a little easier, let's say, than perhaps what we're coming into. I think things are going to be a little slowing down. What do you think?
Well, I think it's been forced to mature, right? Because back in the day, as long as you had, I remember the days in the early 2000s, late 90s, if you had a really nice truck and you had clipboards and you even wore a collared shirt, I used to call it, if I brushed my tooth in the morning, I already separated myself from my competition. and that industry is gone, right? I mean, that's a far cry from what you've seen. And not the least of which, you think about it, I when I left the contracting side of it after 18 years, I just kind of closed up the company and moved on. You wouldn't think about that. I mean, you've got 5, 6, 7-year-old companies that are right now that are being targeted by private equity to the tune of tens of millions of dollars by, just in investments. So it's a very different industry, particularly in the last few years, than even over the last decade.
Yeah, it's crazy. John, what can you contribute to that conversation? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for about 13 years, and our business is not even 10 years old, like you said, Dave. Like, we're in our 8th year now. So I've seen 2 waves of a bad economy. I would consider this the second wave. But yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I think it's the consumer is maturing, the contractor is maturing. I think a lot of things are, before we hit record, I mean, I've been doing what I'm doing as far as creating a customer experience with technology since the beginning. I've known that's my purpose of how to set myself apart. So I'm just excited that Roofle created a tool that basically execute what my goal was, which is to give a really, really good customer experience, because we're changing as consumers, and the industry better change. The companies better change along with the consumer as fast as possible.
So you said something there, and I want to give you kudos for your thought processes, because I'm seeing, even in 1 year here, but I mean, over the decades too, but as a manufacturer rep, one of the hardest things for a company owner to do is to stop thinking in terms of this is how I do my business, and more about how does my potential customer want to do business with me? And that's a very different way to look at your business, and one of the hardest ones to adapt to, because you don't want to upset what you've created. This is part of you. This is my business. This is how I do business. This is how I want to do things. And to stop and go, yeah, but is that how my customer wants me to be? And so what you've been doing for years in figuring this out and kind of honing it in, there are going to be some people that are like, I don't want to have anything to do with it because that's not how I do business. And it's those kind of people that are going to eventually have to face the music that it doesn't matter how you want to do things. It's how do your consumers want to interact with you and do business with you.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us what Roofle is, what's going on, and what's it going to do for us?
Yeah, so Roofle started a company. It's a product. Our product is called Roof Quote Pro. It's a widget that embeds, and we white label it to make it look, the fonts, the colors, the interaction is built with the contractor. It's installed on a contractor's website. So now homeowners can come by that contractor's website, put their address in, their house pops up along with up to 10 other structures. We've already got the measurements and the pitch already determined. There's no additional inputs done by the homeowner. And they are one click away and a form fill from getting a quote from that contractor that would include everything from their value proposition, from their products, their pricing, their warranties, everything that contractor wants that consumer to know about them as a contractor, and offering a price for the product. So then that becomes an exclusive lead for them to deal with, which is where, again, that's where our job kind of stops and Proline jumps in, right? Because then it's how fast can you get back to that homeowner? How can you start engaging with them to take it to the next level?
Well, I can see the pushback coming from, I don't want to have prices on my website. I mean, I'm going to lose all this business because they're going to think they're too high. They haven't read the book. They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan, obviously. But what do you say to that?
Yeah, Marcus Sheridan has blazed a big trail on this, and it's not even industry specific. He just says if you're going to put your price on a website, there's 3 fears that contractor says. Number 1 is that my competitor can see my price. Number 2, they're afraid that what if that price is too big and the price is too high for the homeowner and it scares them away. And number 3 is that my goods and services are too complex. I can't really give a price and put it on my website. And so regardless of the industry, before you start putting your price online, you have to work through those fears that you have. And roofing is no different. I mean, probably as I was saying them, John's nodding going, hey, yeah, I mean, those are the things that you have to do. But the fact is, every single industry has already gone through this process. One of them have gone through, have come out on the other side of it. If people are going to say, well, it's just going to lead to a race to the bottom. Well, guess what? No other industry has been a race to the bottom. But yeah, I mean, so I guess my answer is I feel your pain. I feel your fears. I understand, because it's something new, and it's something that roofing contractors specifically have been able to hide their price. for a long, long time. And the consumer, though, going back to what does the consumer want? How do they want that experience to go? They're not going to allow you to do that any longer. And that time frame is diminishing.
Yep.
So
Give
John,
the customer what they want. Yeah, Dave,
exactly.
you tell me this all the time. You say, like, what's in it for me? What is our job as roofing company owners? We are supposed to give the customer what they want, a customer experience, all these things that we're saying all the time. One of those things, what Mike's saying, is pricing. Almost every website now has like a little pricing button somewhere, no matter what you're buying. So it better be at least you better be giving the consumer at least something. In Marcus Sheridan's book, he talks about giving a range of pricing. Even before I was using Roof Quote Pro, we created our own little tool. We had a calculator on our website. It got used all the time because we could track when people were using it, and it was wild. I mean, it was like in 30 days, hundreds of people were using it. So I obviously knew we were on the right track. So when Roofle came out with this tool, I was like, okay, this is even better. This is actually giving them a more detailed experience of like the exact material they're going to choose. We can include our pricing. And to your point about, I love the objection a lot about like, well, my competitors are going to know my price. Well, like they already know your price and you already know their price. Like if you've been in business for longer than 6 months, you know everyone's pricing. And if you don't, you're not even looking. Like we just had a call from a homeowner said, you guys were a couple $100 different. This is like a $25,000 roof. Like what do you think? Like we're not dumb. We understand what shingles cost. We understand what labor costs. We have specific overhead. So you need to get on board with that, because if you don't know your competition's pricing already and they don't know yours, you're not looking. And this is just another way to validate what the consumer actually wants, which is they want to see how much a roof costs. We all are in this space of like, well, of course we know material prices are crazy, labor is crazy, whatever. We know because we're in our own little world, but they may be doing their first roof ever. Likely they are, and they have no idea how much a roof actually costs. So we need to give them, it's a good pre-qualification too. If they don't have the means, let's say they don't have the means, or they just have a sticker shock, they need to know that before you start wasting each other's time on like, well, I need 6 months to get ready for this. It's 25,000, not 12,000. Like all these things, Roof Quote Pro really solves and really helps my business, because we don't waste a lot of time like we used to a few years ago, just going to get people pricing and they get sticker shock. They get 2 more estimates from 2 other people and they're the same price. And it's like, well, what are we all doing here? Like, what's the point of this? And that's just what I'll say on those objections. When people are listening to this podcast, that's a thing. And you need to put your mind in that state of mind. People already know your pricing anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's the number one search that people are looking for is, what does a roof cost? I mean, they have no idea. So if you are not providing that answer, they're going to find somebody that is. So I agree with you. And the pre-qualification is something that a lot of people overlook, is that you want people to look at this and go, whoa, these guys are too expensive, or this roof costs too much, or whatever. That's not your ideal customer anyway. So you're better off knowing that now. Just as we talk about in our pre-qualification script when we go through it, that's what you want.
Yeah. So in 2008 was the last it was the biggest storm that we had come through Minnesota. I was a contractor back then, and we were at $325 a square. Today, that exact same house is probably over $800 a square. So that price has doubled and then some. Almost so that $5,000 house in 2008 is now probably pushing $20,000 today. Well, that's only 15 years. Like this could legitimately be the next time that they need a roof in the last 15 years. And that, like, so to John's point, most homeowners have no idea. Like they can't even ballpark it within, multiple thousands of dollars as to how much this is going to cost. And just to get them in the ballpark is some of it. And one of the other things I wanted to ask you actually is the trust factor. When you're working with customers, for you to hide your price, or let's put it the positive way, when you're transparent with your price, it's like how much more do you find that customers trust you and they're willing to work with you as you go to final proposal?
It's so much better. So first of all, you're being transparent. You're like, my whole thing, I mean, everybody talks about integrity and like those things, it's kind of ad nauseum, but this is putting your money where your mouth is. You're actually giving it away without a conversation or a sales pitch. It's huge. And it going to a different objection of like, well, what if the accuracy or the pricing is not right? Am I going to get messed up? Well, Roofle does a really good tool of protecting the contractor. That's the first thing. Look at the actual things that they're covered and not covered, and you can customize that however you want. Well, what about rotten decking and what about multiple layers of shingles? Those are the two biggest ones. So Roofle for us, just anecdotally, is very accurate in the fact that the vast majority of the prices that we give from Roofle's tool directly, we don't have to change at all after a physical inspection. There have been times where we've had multiple $1,000 change orders because of multiple layers of shingles and rotten decking. Well, the consumer, if you think from the consumer's point of view, they don't trust the tool 100% either because it's brand new. So they have an expectation that's like, this is not going to be accurate. I know it's not. But if you have a good process as a company owner, we say this every time. There's only two ways our prices will ever change: rotten decking, multiple layers of shingles. And we document that with Company Cam, all those good things that we do. Well, we had like a $6,000 change one time on a pretty small roof, 5-star review from the customer. We documented everything. That's from the Roof Quote Pro tool to the final invoice. And most people were like, that's crazy. Yeah, you're going to have upset people. But if you set yourself up for success with that, then again, they wrote a 5-star review. They paid their bill. They were happy that we did the job the right way. That what these tools do, in my opinion, is it builds the trust that you're talking about in the beginning. Transparency, right? And from the beginning. And it's a really positive lead magnet for your business because you're giving the customer what they want. Like that's all they want. They want to know that you took the time, the effort to give them a tool that they can actually at 9:47 p.m. at night when they're sitting in bed watching Netflix, they can, I know I got to get my roof done. This company has a tool. I can just, it's almost gamified. It's like fun to do it. Like you're just like, well, I want to know what it's going to cost, how much it's going to hurt. I'd rather buy a boat, but I'm going to buy a roof. That kind of thing goes in their mind. That's what we have to, as contractors, meet the consumer there. That's I said a bunch of things, but that's I'm really excited about what you guys offer for me, for my business.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I think the misnomer for a lot of contractors when they're starting to think about going down this road and being that contractor that customers want to do business with in that way, they think about the price being the only thing. And yet I'm willing to bet you can attest to this as well. But it's actually, I view price as one of the pillars. They want to know what products you're using, what manufacturers. They want to know what kind of warranty you have. They want to see who you are as a company, your core values, your team, what kind of trucks are you driving, what kind of fleet do you have, how big are you, how old have you been in business? Like these are all pillars that are bringing value to who you are as a company. And oh, by the way, one of those pillars is, what is this price going to be? And so many contractors, when they look at what we're doing and go, nope, I don't do business that way, I would never give my price up. Well, you're hiding one pillar of multiple pillars. And that one pillar might be the difference between you getting a look at the job or not, because the rest of the world sees that as really important to the decision process, not because they want to go with the cheapest option, but because they want to trust you and they want to know that you're going to be transparent with everything. And if you're hiding your price, what else are you hiding?
Very true.
Well, we had Travis on, it was episode number 314, and it was about the future. This is the future of roofing. And Mike, you mentioned how, things are really changing, which they are. We're coming into tougher times. And I think if you're not looking at these tools and these automations, you're going to be left behind because it's going to get tough and you're going to need these things. John, you've used this, as you said, the guy's sitting there on his couch, somewhat like you bought your Tesla, that people are looking at this. You sold roofs directly off of this tool, haven't you?
All the time. I mean, we were doing it before Roof Quote Pro even happened. We were doing the same thing. We would, you can do it a number of different ways, but we do use ProLine automations to automatically send a text message and an email that you can schedule an appointment to get an inspection. Let's say the customer has some doubts about the roof, or they know that there's some specific issues and they want a physical inspection. But and we'll do that. That's a better way to sell right now in 2023, is they want to see a physical inspection. They may or may not be home. That's fine. But we have definitely sold lots of roofs where none of my sales team have ever met the customer. Again, 5-star review, we're documenting with company cam pictures, and they love it. They love the whole experience. They write glowing reviews with pictures that we send them, because they just don't want to meet 1 to 3 to 5 roofers to come inspect the roof. And they just look at our reviews. There's no silver bullet. We talk about this all the time, Dave. There's no tool in a roofing company owner's life that is just going to fix everything. Roof Quote Pro is a great tool, but you have to have a whole plan, a whole process, a bunch of systems around it to really maximize it and to make it be really successful for how your business operates. Like, it is a huge deal to understand that people think, well, I'm going to buy this thing. I'm going to buy an Equipter and it's going to solve all my problems. I'm going to buy whatever it is. This crew is going to be the best. It's going to solve all. It's not like that. Like, you really need to have a complete plan in place to help this tool maximize the efficiency and the effectiveness for your business.
And how much fun is it to create, right? So you've got so many options now to create your own thing. And so you talked about it, the process behind, how are you going to do it from here? And I think one of the criticisms, you're just going to go, you're getting rid of all the salespeople. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, if you're talking about Carvana, if you're talking about e-commerce, but what is Carvana now? 5%? That means like 95% of the car industry, even though it has gone entirely over to this, marketplace, however you want to describe it, it has not eliminated the car salesman. It has funneled your buyers, right? So if I was looking for a truck and I found the perfect Dodge 1500 with all the options that I wanted, and I called them up and I said, hey, what's the price on it? Or if I'm looking on the website even and it says call for price, I'm probably not even going to pursue it, right? And especially if I call them up and they say, I'm not going to give you the price. You need to come out to the site, take a look at it. I'm going to show you all the features and benefits, talk to you about it, and then I'm going to give you the price. I'm never going to do that. So that's what we're talking about, that consumer experience and what they're asking for, what they're going to be demanding. And they're going to be demanding this of the roofing industry. But at the same time, these contractors can actually have a lot of fun with this. And so we were talking a little bit about where do you want to put a QR code that's going to attract the attention of a potential buyer and have that compelling reason for them to give you, as a contractor, their contact information and reach out. So I put I photoshopped a QR code on the tailgate of a truck and said, click here, get your roof quote before the light turns green. That's conceivable now. You could literally do that. Or, make it a tattoo. I think I was being kind of silly with them for a few of them, but, put them above a urinal, get your quote before you're done. I mean, it's just like you can do, and you're going to see contractors being more and more and more creative in their marketing strategies, because they're giving that compelling reason for customers or potential customers to want to do business with them, because they already trust them, because they're helping to fill out those pillars that they so desperately want to be filled out.
Yep. The efficiency for using a tool like that is like your creative plan is the limit. So 2 things that we're going to be doing in the upcoming months. I just bought 100 video boxes. So it's a 5x7 box. It's got a little screen inside. Cameron's going to do one for Athens. I'm going to do one for Savannah. We have a videographer scheduled. We're going to do a value proposition, but it's going to be designed really well. And guess what? There's going to be a QR code on it. And guess where that QR code is going to go? Right to the tool, because we're sending these to insurance agents. We're sending them to realtors. We're sending them to centers of influences that will be, adjacently using our services or referring us. And they're going to think, this is cool. I open this box up and there's a video of these 2 guys. And then what's in it for them though? Like, we'll scan the QR code and you can get a roof. Like, let's scan your roof. Let's see what your roof would cost in today's dollars. Like, it's a huge value for people. And trucks are great. Like, apparel is great. Anything that you can think of, like, people are just going to be scanning QR codes even more than ever. And if you really show, like, well, what am I getting if I scan this? You're getting something very quickly, and it's for you, specifically for you. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't have to be a roof. It can be anything, but they're going to be like, I wonder how much my roof costs. I wonder what they're probably thinking, like, wonder what my roof looks like from satellite, or what. They're just all these things. You're exactly right. You're gamifying this experience. And then if you use an automation, like if you use ProLine, then they're in your pipeline. So maybe they're not ready to buy right then. But if you put them in the correct campaign, that gamified experience will eventually become real revenue and profit for your business. And it's an easy lead magnet. We just never have had that ability to do before. And it's really, really exciting. I mean, we have a huge plan moving in the next year for everything that we're going to be doing is going to be centered around Roof Quote Pro. Like, we see that is a really great way to help our business grow, and grow our business in a way that we never could before. I can go into all kinds of deals about the old way we used to do business, door knocking, roof climbing, all those things, to the new way. But I'm really excited about the tool and being able to use it in our markets.
Think about those leads that nobody ever wanted when you're a contractor, and I never wanted them either, from the realtors, because they just wanted your number, and they've got a closing tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. They needed a price because they're negotiating something to the roof. Well, now you can strategically target those guys and go, we want all of your leads, because why? You know that those homeowners in this transaction, they're closing tomorrow. It might be midnight. They got to get this number so they can get this finalized. But guess what? As a contractor, I know there's something at an issue with that roof that they're negotiating in the price of the home.
Yep.
Guess what? You have them in your funnel. And just like you said, you just start put them in the pipeline, and they're in your pipeline. You now own that, and it didn't cost you any time. And so now you went from leads that you never wanted to leads that you're now targeting. Even if it's a 3 to 5 years potentially payoff, doesn't matter, because it's all automated anyway.
Yeah, we have realtors, so it's pretty funny because I was so excited about using the tool when we first got it last year. And so I'm new to Savannah. Like, Athens, I've been part of for 25 years, but we moved to Savannah last year to start a new location. Well, I didn't know anybody here, so I used Roof Quote Pro, and I would find listings, like home listings, and it's like, that needs a new roof. And so I would send a Roof Quote Pro to the realtor. I did like 20 realtors, and they're like, this is the best thing, like, because they don't know who I am. And even if you've been in the market for a long time, they may have a roofer, but you just gave them actual value that they can use as a leverage tool during that real estate transaction. I don't love working with realtors. There's like, it's not an 80-20 rule with them. It's like a 298 with them. Like, 2% are awesome and give me tons of work, and 98% of them are horrible. But if you hit that 2%, it is gold for us, because we're going to work with our ideal customer, and we're going to take care of those customers that they have. And that's just an easy way that, I mean, we're going to be doing that over the winter to slow months, to be just like providing value for realtors that have listings that we can just see for free. It's a really fun way, another way that I thought of last year to use the tool.
Mike, John was talking about a lead magnet, how it's bringing leads in to his business. So, which is what we want to do. We want to get people to our website and convert those into leads. What are you seeing contractors doing as far as using that as a as a lead generation tool? Whether they're going through their SEO, writing blog posts about this, or even paid search, taking them to a landing page, perhaps. But what do you see as some of the best practices of the contractors that you're working with?
Yeah, let me start with the worst case scenario. Like, as a new subscriber, we are committed to not just selling a product and helping contractors have the tools to be able to to adapt themselves to the coming revolution, but we want them to be successful at it as well. So the hardest ones that we do is the ones that just install it on their website and then just think that their website's going to suddenly turn into magic and they're going to get a whole bunch of leads. They'll get some leads and you'll be surprised how many leads they probably get. But at the same time, you're probably not going to be happy with the subscription if that's all you do.
We've got a lot of those. We've got a lot of those. They just throw it up there and they can't understand why it doesn't work. Yeah.
So what I love about it, and again, this is about being creative. Like, how do you want to make something that's compelling, right? That's the whole thing. How do you make something that's compelling enough for a homeowner to want to act on behalf of you? And so whether you're creating an ad, and, when you're doing Facebook, Google ads, they actually start becoming more affordable when you're doing some of your targeting ads, but you're giving your conversion rate a kickstart because, again, you're not advertising an inspection, a free inspection, which doesn't excite anybody. You're now compelling them to, hey, click here. We're going to give you what you want. We're going to give you an instant estimate on your house. Now, homeowners are like, oh, I'll click on that ad. So, and then once you start getting in that mindset, now you're being a little bit more creative with your ads, with your ad campaigns, being much more targeted in who you're advertising to. But then you start thinking, wow, where are the other places I could do this? You could start door knocking campaigns. You can start doing hanging. If you're doing house A in this neighborhood, you can go door to door with a watch us work or however you want to talk about it, but handwritten note with a QR code. If you want to know what that roof is going to cost on your house, just click the QR code. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. Just click it. Now, again, whatever's happening on your website or where that QR code goes, it goes straight into your portal. It's just their lead generation. So you're doing that. You're putting it on a billboard at a ball game, right? You're spending some money to support your local high school football team, and you're saying get a quote on your roof before kickoff. Baseball, anything to like I said, truck wraps. Home shows become a whole different experience now. So now instead of having a fish bowl and you're giving away a Blackstone or something and hoping to get homeowners to commit to giving you up their contact information to you, instead you're saying, no, we'll give you a quote on your house before you ever leave our booth. It's giving homeowners a whole different experience that they didn't even know was possible. And now you're making that possible. And what does that do? It increases the traffic to your web page without having to put all that money into, a $20,000 or $30,000 spend, hoping that SEO kicks in and works. Like, it's kind of like the door knocking approach to SEO, right? You can put whatever effort you want and it's practically free. It's elbow grease for you, but you're just being creative in how you're presenting it, and you're creating buzz, you're creating excitement, and you're driving traffic to your website or landing pages.
Now, let's talk about your process, because you are Mr. Process on everything. So what do you do that's working, getting people to your website? And then when they do click on this, what happens? And how do you turn that into a lead, or at least the follow-up? We talk about speed to lead, and, getting that done, getting those guys moving down your pipeline.
So I don't do a great job, truthfully. I put the landing page on our social, on my personal social, and other. I promote it as, like, I don't promote the main homepage. I promote the tool. So if somebody wants to find out about us, they're going to go directly to the tool. So that's one thing that we've seen. And then, side note, the analytics part of what Roof Quote Pro does is really awesome, because you can see the number of people that have interacted and what stage they've used the tool. It's a really huge deal, because you want to know, where people are in the process. So I have all those numbers. But as far as my process goes, I've said this a lot. You can have the tool again. Doesn't matter which tool you have. For an instant quoting tool, you need to have an automated text message, specifically text and email. And that has massively helped us, because it's automatically going to go in our CRM. So ProLine has it, but then it automatically gets the homeowner gets a text message. First of all, we know if it's a real person, because it's going to get blocked if it's not, or they gave the correct information. If they are a real person, then they're gonna immediately, it doesn't matter if it's, again, 9:47 at night, they're gonna it's almost all of our leads are outside of business hours. So this is a huge reason why you need an automation that works with this tool, because people are thinking about these things and like the gamified fun part of it is there, but from what we see, it's like the time of day when the automations go out, they're like, that's 7:13 at night. Like, we're not gonna no one's gonna be working there. Or if you are, you shouldn't be. You should be hanging out with your family. Like, you should be using these tools so that you're giving the customer what they want. They're getting a good experience, but you're not having to work 85 hours a week to capture leads. So we have a link that goes to Calendly. They can schedule an inspection if they want to, or there's they can also respond to the text or the email directly to us, and then we'll get the message. We sold a roof like within 14 hours one time. Most of that was sleeping time. It was like nine something at night, and then by, I think it was 11, right before lunch the next day, we had a roof sold, and we'd never even inspected the roof because they used it that night. They wanted that problem solved. They wanted the quote, and they were so impressed. They're like, let's just go, and we sold the roof. And that's a very common occurrence, like that you're just giving that experience. They're getting automated text, automated email. They respond to it. We double check the measurements, send them a proposal, done. They sign it. We move along, and we're getting better and better. We really want to make it even more efficient. Proline's proposals I just launched them for my business, so it's going to be even faster to create the proposal within seconds from that automation. So then we're going to really know how to get a signed contract right away. And another part before we got on, Mike, we had our mastermind with a couple contractors. You guys have a really great visual tool and partner with Moment Financing. We've done more financing this year than I have done in the past 7 years combined, because of the tool that you have. Now, again, you can talk about, I love this financing company, that financing company. What you guys are providing is the really clear graphical display of what they're getting. And you can put your 3 plan, I think you can do up to 5 or 7. But anyway, we'll give 3 plans. They know these 3 different types of financing. Let's say they use a different financing company. Well, you can still offer the same thing and take them through that process. It's a huge deal as roofs they are now too expensive for most people. We have to be the solution. And Roofle Pro does that visually really well. We give them the good, better, best on the options, but for the types of roofs, but then we give them 3 options for the types of financing they can apply for. It's a really huge tool, a huge thing for us, because we've sold a lot of jobs we never would have sold without the tool, because of how nice. I can't stress that enough. You guys do a great job of showing professionalism with the tool. It's really important to me that it's not some like GIF art that's just like up there, like, okay, well, it looks like I built it. That's how my old calculator looked. It was just like I put a house here and it was steeper, and it would be like a really simplistic thing that literally looked like I built it. It's really important to show the customers, like, we care about these details, and we care about what the shingles are going to look like on your roof, and we care about the details about the warranty. We care about the details of like the complete roof system. That's really important. And people have. I mentioned a conversation before with Cameron. The guy was really in tune with like the product. He wanted to compare the 2 different products, and you guys do that. It's really important that you stand behind, as a roofing company, you stand behind a product. So all those things are part of my process. It's why I love Roofle Pro. But that is just a little snippet of how we've used it for the past, I guess, now 14 months. Is that right? Yeah, I think September 1st last year is when I first got on. And I'm excited about making that process even more efficient moving forward in 2024.
Nice.
John,
yeah, that user experience, I'm willing to bet that user experience is by far the hardest, right? So you can be, and this is our core values as a company, is always innovative, but secondly is profoundly simple. And you can be as innovative as you want, but if it's not profoundly simple, nobody's going to use it. And so you can see very specific steps that were made by the Roofle team to make it seamless and simple and not invasive. And so you look at it very specifically in the Contractor Loan Pro and the financing portion of this. For a homeowner, it has to be quick and it can't be super invasive. And you can see that our choice of partnership in that makes it quick. It's not a 26 question, questionnaire to figure out if you qualify, and it doesn't affect their credit. So it's not very invasive. So it's quick and it's not invasive. But on the contractor side, we can't have it risky either. So we don't want that homeowner now to take that financing and start shopping the contractor. So the partnership that we have and the way that Contractor Loan Pro gives you all of the options to do the right financing for the right customers, making it quick, not invasive, but not risky for the contractor either. So what they've created here, and I talk about that with the Roofle team, it's just it's mind-boggling the amount of time and effort and ingenuity that they put into trying to think of everything as far as from the consumer experience and the contractor side of things to be in control.
Yep, love it.
So Mike, you guys are always making changes, improvements, and so forth. What are some of the problems that you're working on now? New products in the pipeline. How is it going to be changing, and what are you guys looking at?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm most excited about, it might sound strange to some, but we're actually changing the map, the actual visual that the homeowner is seeing. So we're switching to a different provider. It's going to be a little bit more complex on our end, but the user experience, the images are going to be clearer, the house is going to be clearer, those images are going to be a lot clearer. Now, even though we don't use aerial imagery for the measurements, that's not the reason why we do it, but it's for a better consumer experience. And the fact that we have the ability, or we give the homeowner the ability to actually customize that measurement. So if they see something that they want to move around or change the structure or something like that, we give them the freedom to do that, which all counts because it's sitting on the contractor website. It all counts toward their SEO, makes their page look a lot more attractive to Google and their SEO. So all of that stuff is very exciting. We've just finished the integration with distribution. So we've got the Beacon Pro Plus integrations already up and live working. John, you were talking about the spread, the higher low, doing a price range rather than a pinpoint price. That's going to be coming out next month as well. So now you'll be able to give a price range if that makes you more comfortable. The fact is, these our engineers just continue to think of everything and try to make all of that accessible and available for contractors as they're looking to implement this in their businesses.
John, final thoughts?
Well, I'll say, just touch on that really quickly. From ProLine's perspective and how fast we move, we pride ourselves on moving quickly to help. Like if a contractor gives us a request for a feature, we try to get it to them really fast. And years, whatever software you use, you're like, this feature is going to come next year. And you're like, what is going on? You guys at Roofle, you're exactly right. Your dev team, your development team is lightning fast, because it is all, I'm like, there's another update like all the time. And your roadmap for like what to improve and the correct order to improve it and to add these features because people are requesting them. It's, as a contractor, you should be really excited about that, because you're getting heard. First of all, you have a request. I'm not going to say that everything's going to happen right away, but at least you guys are listening to us and you're actually making the changes in those directions. Whether they coincide with what you're already going to do or what we requested, it doesn't really matter. You guys are adding features and that really benefit us as a contractor and the consumer really quickly. And it's really important, because as we've been talking about this whole customer experience this whole time, you can't be stagnant. You have to continually improve. And so you guys are doing kudos to the team, really, because you have good leadership, good marketing, but also good like production nuts and bolts of actually continually improving my experience and our customers' experience as well.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll pass the word along. That means a lot, and it's good to be recognized for stuff that I think we're doing really well, but it's fun to hear it from contractors as well.
Well, if you're a contractor and giving us the we just rely on referrals and this and that. Things are changing, man. You got to get with the program or you're going to get passed by. So, Mike, how do we get more information? What should our contractors do to get more information and get started on this?
Yeah, you can go to find us on social media, Roofing Made Simple on Instagram, Roofle page on Facebook. You can go to roofle.com. We've got lots of ways for you to interact with the tool itself, to try it out for yourself, put a couple addresses in, see what the experience is like, and then see if you would like that experience on your website. It's 100% yours. We will white label it to make it look as native to your site as possible. But lots of ways to get a hold of us. You can look me up on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, and we'd love to set you up.
We got a lot of contractors in our mastermind groups that use it, love it. John obviously is a big supporter. You can get in touch with him. But Mike, this is great. Loved having you on, man. I learned a lot as always, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks. It was a privilege to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.